Hi there, folks. This is Sean Brodrick, and I'm at the PDAC 2017 in Toronto, Canada. And I'm speaking to Mitchell Smith. He's the president and CEO of Global Energy Metals, which is a cobalt company. I find cobalt fascinating. Obviously, it's one of the metals to watch this year. It's had a huge price run so far. Who knows where it will go next? And right now, Mitchell's company is, they actually have a past producing project that is in Canada one of the more advanced projects, and he's going to tell you guys about that. Could you please speak to my viewers?
Sure, excellent. Well, thanks very much, Sean, for speaking with me today. Very exciting time, as Sean mentioned, in the cobalt space. We have one of the most well understood primary cobalt projects, as Sean mentioned, located in northwestern Ontario, in Canada. The Warner Lake Cobalt Project, owned 100% by Global Energy Metals Corp, just listed on the TSX Venture under the symbol GEMC.
Right, and you don't have a U.S. listing because you guys are so new, right?
We don't, and it's something that we will be working on in the very near future to ensure maximum exposure for all interested parties.
Okay, so just tell us about the Warner Lake project, which
Sure.
is the project you have.
Sure. So Warner Lake, as mentioned, past producing cobalt project. It was slated for reproduction again in the late 90s by a predecessor company, Canmine. Very similar cobalt prices to what we've seen today, and fortunately for the cobalt world, again, the cobalt has spiked up to over $20 a pound US. We are in the process of updating our resource to 43101 standards. We look to further understand the project through metallurgical work, and we'll be doing so in the very near future, being able to provide results based on that work program.
Okay, now you don't have the 43101 yet, but you think you have about 7 million pounds with the potential for more upside. Isn't that right?
Right. There was a historic estimate put on the project to around 1 million tons, grading 0.3% cobalt. Again, not 43101 standards, and we'll be updating that in the very near future.
Okay, and I hope we can discuss this, but you talked about leveraging this company to maybe consolidate the small operations around the area, right?
Correct. So, and not just in the area, but we're looking to leverage the Warner project and do further acquisition in the cobalt space. We've created assembled a very keen and knowledgeable team that has the ability to execute on the cobalt strategy, and understands the cobalt market very well. And we'll look to increase our portfolio by adding projects in safe, mining-friendly jurisdictions outside of the DRC.
That's one thing that I find attractive about your company, because since the price of cobalt has soared, it seems like everybody wants to be a cobalt company, but you guys actually have the expertise to do this.
Right, and I think that's what really differentiates us, and I think there's been a number of groups that have entered the cobalt space over the course of the last year, and they've done a fantastic job in terms of creating this a very good platform, and have marketed the cobalt, the criticality of cobalt very well. We've been part of the cobalt market for a number of years, and the project, the Warner Lake project, for instance, was assembled by our chairperson in 2007, and we joke in that we foresaw this many years back, and we're perhaps a little too early to the game to be able to leverage off it. But now that cobalt prices have come back to norm, and it's become in the spotlight, and I think a lot of that can be attested to the Tesla and the electrification of the vehicle.
Because they need cobalt for those lithium
cobalt
batteries.
is critical to the lithium ion battery.
One good thing is you're in Canada, and most of the world's current cobalt production comes from Africa,
Correct.
from the DRC, where some terrible mining conditions, including having children mine and stuff like that, has really grabbed world attention in the wrong way. Apple is cracking down on suppliers that use that supply. Your company will potentially offer an alternative to that.
That's right, and really that was the vision behind the company is to be a niche supplier outside of the DRC. We've as mentioned, spent a long time in the space and have surrounded ourselves with end user, downstream user partners.
So you know what they're looking for.
So exactly. So we know what they're looking for, and what we hear very loud and very clear is that they want diversification outside of the DRC. I'm not saying that they're not going to obtain the majority of the material from these projects,
right.
and it'll continue to come from the DRC, but they want to have some supply diversification should situations change in the DRC. Should there's in addition to the labor issues within the region, there's also serious infrastructure problems in the DRC and transportation of the materials.
Whereas Canada has great infrastructure.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. All right. So Global Energy Metals,
Yes.
GEMC on the TSX-V. We'll look forward to your U.S. listing. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Excellent. No, I think that we covered it off, and appreciate your support.
All right. Great.
Thank you.
Very interesting company. You know how interesting I find cobalt and the explorers, the developers, and miners that are leading the charge in that space. I'm not saying that prices can keep going up like a rocket, but it's making a lot of projects that weren't profitable suddenly profitable, and that can turn into great news for investors. So stay tuned. I'll have more for you from the PDAC. This is Sean Brodrick.